Guys, my afternoon classes are way bigger than my morning classes, just with how the schedule worked out and the groupings. So, you need 621 and 622 out. On 621, we have some mats down at the, kind of like the middle of the page. So, right here, these 3 mats. This is what we want to attack right now. Now, the first one, they don't tell us the comparison. But then the second 2, they start to work us into, what if the mats are equal? How do we deal with that? So in the first one, just do what you can. Clean up left side, right side as much as you can. Then on the second, the second and the third ones, you should be able to figure out what x is valued at. Like what the value of x is. First one, I don't think we'll be able to. Second, third, we should. Dive in, please. We figured out when the games, we figured out 4 games yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Hey there, Matt. We got some more seating options today. I moved some stuff around to try to make more space for the afternoon. Alright, so Matt, we're looking at these on 621. So kind of in the middle of the page, we're cleaning up these mats as much as possible. Ha, ha, ha. These mats. Yeah. What do you mean? So you mean for like the first one, like this one that we're solving? Just do as much as you can, and then we'll compare left to right. So yeah, we don't know because they didn't tell us, but then with these mats, they do tell us that the left side is equal to the right side. Alright, so I think we can probably pull it back together. I should use random cards, because why not? I feel like this feels decent. I kind of like this.
Where did you even get that?
Mrs. Gafford, the 8th grade Spanish teacher who led the salsa thing on Dia de Amor. Alright, so Donna, what can I do on that first one here?
Well, like on both sides, you can get rid of 2 X's.
On both sides, Donna says I can get rid of 2 X's. So guys, what you want to draw is indications that we got rid of 2 X's from both sides. Arfon, what next?
Get rid of 3 1.
Get rid of 3 1s on both sides, right? On both sides. And then Raiden, what do we do now? We probably scratch our head while we look at this and say, well, the left side is 2x, and the right side is... And depending on x, would depend on which side's bigger. Now, what if I tell you they're equal? What if we know they're equal, Matt? X would be 4 because if we divide and divide, we would get back to just 1x, which we don't need to write. The 1 is equal to 4. It'd be like me saying 1 Matt when I call on Matt. Like, I could, it's accurate, it's unnecessary. So, for our second one here, Sophie, what could I do first here? Sure, take away 1 extra from each side. Now I think there are some zeros, but we could do that like whenever. So we could start with that, or we could do it in a second. Carolina, what do you think? Make a 0, and that doesn't really like lead. It just kind of like cancels out, right? Ooh, and another 0 cancels out. Bethany, what now? You guys good? Because there's like this constant like low talking from back there, and I figured it would sort itself out, but it's not. So either fix it or don't sit together. Take away 1 from each side. And since we know they're equal to each other, thanks to the mat getting a little bit more useful and saying, hey, these are equal, we can now say 2 x's are equal to 4. So then, guys, this is where you're going to get confused if all you think of is what you can do on the mats. Once I get to here, it's not what can I bring in or take away. It's I can split. My left side of my mat, I can split in half. My right side, I can split in half by doing division by 2. You could write this on your paper if you want it to be able to look back at. And that's how we get x is equal to 2. Questions? Hopefully you have the third one done. If not, finish it, because I'm going to give you a second more. If you are done with it, you can go ahead and do one of those homework problems. That looks the same. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Jack, talk to me about what we can do here. X's or 1s? Okay, so this negative and positive pair cancels out. Negative, positive pair cancel. Ooh, there's more, right? Negative, positive, cancel. Negative, positive, cancel. Negative, positive, cancel. Negative, positive, cancel. Jack, what? I feel like you just set off like dominoes that like everything just kind of fell over. What are we left with? So if this is equal, according to our mat, x is equal to 0. You guys, x can be 0. 0 is a number. I'm ordering 0 pizzas right now. You're watching me. I'm doing it. Right? 0 is a number, so don't get confused when everything cancels out. So you have 0. Right now, we all have 0 pizzas. We can. We're not going to, but we can. All right, let's flip to 622, because I think we got a good amount of practice on that stuff. All right, so really, I could just like put your guys' paper up here. So you want to check out this with your partner. So Chen's sister says, I'm thinking of a number. Now this is one of those games where like, you don't know what their number is.
Oh, like I'm thinking of 100.
But then Chen's sister tells you, if I add 2 and then triple it, you get 9. So chat with your neighbor. How could we write this out mathematically? What is that number? And can you figure out how to write it out mathematically? So chat, at least like 30 seconds I want to give you guys to talk. So I want to give you time to talk.
Why do you have it all taped up?
Because I got rid of the tripod because it was in the way. It was really messing with like my vision, being able to see you guys. And that, honestly, here, if I put with minors in it, it like puts under different like rules and regulations. Now, you guys all have a release form with the district that I'm allowed to post. Like, if I post on Instagram a picture with you guys, like that's fine. You have a release, but I, for my YouTube, like to just try to avoid you guys being in there. So, if you don't realize it, 61 is very similar to 60. They actually, like, both kind of set up the same way. I will take a volunteer, because random card on this might be a little scary. I'll take a volunteer to tell me what you guys thought about for 60. And I don't really love all the extra words they have up there, so I'm just going to paste in my version from our homework paper. Oh, gosh, there's too many volunteers. I guess I'm going to look at the card of who's the next. Devin, are you trying to volunteer? Ashley, I think she's not here today. Kamal? Yeah, you are. All right, talk to me what you guys figured out. Or maybe just you.
So, you first do, you choose a 9 and then you divide by 3.
No, wait, why? I agree, but I want to know why.
Because it's the last thing on there, it says that you triple it, and then you get half, and you divide it by 3.
So the last thing they had done was they tripled something. So that's why Kamal was saying, I want to start by dividing to work it backwards. But before I work it backwards, I'm going to write out what they told me. So what got tripled?
A number.
X
X.
plus 2.
A number plus 2.
Oh my.
Because they said I'm thinking of a number if you add 2 and then so they had a number plus 2 and then they tripled. But so Kamal said to work that backwards, we want to undo their tripling. So what happens when we undo their tripling? That 9 turns into 3, and that tells us that number plus 2 had to be 3. How do we undo that plus 2? Anybody?
Minus 2.
We're going to minus 2 where? On both sides. And x equals? Try 61 with your partner. There are two, hey, hold up. There are 2 ways to do it. I want you to draw like a line across, like in the middle of your paper to split. We're going to do it 2 different ways. We're going to do it 2 different ways. I want you guys to try to come up with one. So on your paper, draw like a dividing line. Right, we're going to do it 2 different ways. So I would start over here. And then over here. Guys, if you are taking the time to do this on your paper, you will appreciate that you have it to look back at. Matt, can you tell me an idea of what we could do first up here? Ooh, I don't know that yet. I mean, I agree with you that that's what you figured out. So I'm going to draw like kind of my little dotted line to keep me, because I'm doing this 2 completely separate ways. So I've got left side, right side here, left side, right side here. So over here first, and it's like, you know the answer. We just need to figure out how we got there. Do you know how you got there? So hold on. So what Matt just said, 4 times 2 equals 8. What you really figured out, Matt, was if I get rid of this 4, if I divide by 4, you could write this down on your paper. You get that this x plus 3, this number that multiplied by 4 had to be 2. So essentially Matt said what this is, this x plus 3 has to be 2. Well, we can mathematically get ourselves there by dividing by 4. Now for this to be 2, what do I do to get the x by itself? Anyone, how do I get rid of
Minus 3.
We can minus 3 where?
But
On both sides. And we get x is negative 1.
you didn't know the answer.
The process is more important than the answer, though.
I just kind of looked at it.
Anyone want it? Now, this other way is a bit longer, but it's the other way we can do this. Lane?
It's kind of like I kind of tried things like when I first looked at it, it didn't make sense because 4 times 2 equals 12, so I kind of like.
Hold up. I agree with you. 4 times 3 equals 12.
And then, so I was like, it had to be a negative. X had to be a negative.
Well, so hold on. Hold that thought. Guys, if we're going to do 4 times 3, what else needs to happen here?
Well, X.
The 4 times x. So guys, if you want to draw this on your paper, this is the other way for us to do this. When you see a number up against parentheses, it's telling us multiply. And we got to distribute, right? Distributive property. We got to distribute to both. I see some people not writing this down, and that's a choice you get to live with. If I get to here, well, now we need to get rid of the 4 and get rid of the 12. What should I do first? Hey guys, I'm going to tell you, and this is why you should write this on your paper. You could divide by 4 right now. You could. That won't always work nicely, because if you divide by 4, the 12 will also divide by 4. Now here, that would work fine. It doesn't always work fine. So here's my advice. Undo the addition subtraction first. So how do we undo a plus 12? Minus 12. And here's what Lane was just talking about. This is gonna have to be negative. So 4x equals what?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. And if I have 4 times x, how do I get back to just 1x? Divide by 4.
I like the other one. I used to so we did. I kind of read it and it had to be a negative, like even like 0 plus 3. So it had to be a negative, like any plus number plus 3.
Did we get the same answer?
Yeah.
So does it matter which way you would use?
No.
You pick your route. You decide how. Like guys, if you were to go from here to Kilbourne High School, there are 2 different routes that are almost equal to each other. Like there's the Smoky Row route, and then there's the whatever road goes over the highway instead of under the highway. I forget the one that goes by the elementary. Linwood? It might be Linwood. Yeah. So like literally, but both ways get you where you need to go. That's why algebra is so nice. You have options. You have different ways to get where you need to go. So I want you to try. Now this is not on your paper. I'm debating how much time we have because I also want you to have some homework time.
I love you so much.
Yeah, I know you do.
Wait, how many people are in their homework?
Not enough. If you really want to talk about it, it was 10 of you out of 19.
So what's the ask?
So that's not even 65%. And Block 3 did better than you guys anyways. But I don't think they're at 65% either. Yeah, because I don't have anything else in my bin. So if you didn't turn in last week's homework, there's your reminder. We're going to go ahead and jump to 63, which is on your paper. Sorry for telling you it wasn't going to be on your paper. So what we want to look at is, how did Kelly solve this? Like, why did she do what she was doing? So this is the same problem we solved right up here. Right? What route did Kelly take? What was she doing and why? So take a minute or two, analyze this, and you need to be able to say, like, from here to here, what did she do? Right? From here to here, what did she do? Which hopefully you know now, and if you don't, look back up at your work and see if that helps you. Take like 2 minutes to talk this through. All right, you guys ready to talk about this?
Yep.
All right, Emery.
Yes.
To go from their first step down to the second, what happened and why?
They divided by 4. No, wait. They divided. Yes, they did divide by 4. Because they divided by 4 is 2. And then when they divided by 4, I think they just stopped.
They divided by 4 because they didn't want to multiply by 4, so they avoided multiplying by 4 by saying, nah, we'll just undo it, we'll just divide. Sweet! So then, Lane, what about going from the second step down to the third? What changed? What did they do? Why?
They added a negative on both sides.
Do you know why?
To get rid of the 3.
Yeah, they're working to get rid of that positive 3, and to do that, they add in a negative 3, but they do it on both sides. Now, what's funky is they could have gone ahead and put these together, but they didn't, because the only thing they thought about in that step, they thought about one thing at a time. They did it on the right side, sure, if you want.
Yeah, and then they did 2 plus negative 3, which they got the answer, which is negative 1.
And then they did this, right?
The final thing to do is just make the 0, so it leaves you the x.
Boom. Now, what if instead, and I want to do this one live, because I bet some of you guys did not think about this, even though it was on your paper. If this was the problem instead, Sam, what would you tell me to do first?
First, I would find the property of x.
Who, what, huh?
I'd find what x is.
I know, that's the whole goal here. I'm worried that you weren't paying attention at all up here, because this is very similar. So look at what we just talked about and what you maybe wrote down or maybe chose not to.
It's 2. Because 5.
Sam, I'm not asking you what x is.
Same.
I'm asking you how we start our solution process. Answers are less important than how we get there. So, if, like what they did up here, we want to start solving this, what could we do first? Because guys, I'm telling you,
Oh,
X.
divide by 3.
Thank you. We might be able to, like, Sam's up here trying to solve the whole problem. He's trying to do everything. Stop it. I just want you to do one thing at a time. Guys, X very quickly will be like mixed numbers, decimal numbers, really messy numbers that you can't just look at this and go, oh, X is 2. Now, X might be 2 here, but I want us to get comfortable with what we're doing. So we could divide by 3 first, which would then give us, okay, X minus 5 equals 3. See, this is X minus 5 equals, that's really awkward. Donna?
We could add 5 to 9.
Oh, if we add 5, that gets rid of the negative 5, and we get X would be 8. Questions? Because you know we always use graph paper. You definitely have it out to solve one more of these. Sophia, pick a letter A through F.
J.
That's not between A and F.
J.
A.
A.
Sophia says we're doing A. We're doing A.
What?
Hey, she didn't know.
I don't know my
She just had to pick a random letter.
I don't know
She
my
didn't know.
alphabet.
We're doing A. We're doing A. We're doing A. On your graph paper, start with the whole thing. So we're writing out the entire thing to start. 4 parentheses X plus 1 plus 1
That's a bit much.
plus negative. You chose it.
Yeah. I was just supposed to know.
I mean, do any of these really look? Well, okay, a couple of them do look easier.
I'm not saying
Hey, but we're doing this
it's
together.
simple.
We're doing this together. Ezekiel, what would you suggest that I do right now? Do we want to divide everything? Hey guys, for those of you thinking divide by 4, don't. Because if you divide by 4, everything gets divided by 4. That won't be nice. You could, but it won't be nice. So Ezekiel, what are you thinking? We could minus 1 from both sides. Like, we could totally do that, but before we get to that point, I feel like we could multiply. Like this right here. So I'm erasing a little bit extra. When you see a number up against parentheses, that tells us that we should multiply. So I'm going to do that first. You're right, we could have minus 1. Like, and we're still going to do that. But I want to figure out, well, what do I actually have over on the left-hand side? So 4x, don't fall in the trap door for getting the second part, 4x
4.
plus 4 plus 1 plus negative x. I see some people choosing not to do this. That's an interesting choice that you will live with. Eli, what could I do now?
I'd make 0 negative x and
Yeah, like combine like terms, right? So I mean, we're really making zeros. But if I have, I did not mean to change colors. If I have 4x and negative x, what do I really have? 3x. If I have 4 and 1, what do I really have?
5.
And nothing really to do on the right-hand side. So we just keep bringing it down. This is why we do math vertically. It just keeps falling down. Whatever doesn't change just comes down. Devin, what now? We got 3x plus 5 over here. We got 10 plus x over there. Yeah, sure. Subtract 5 from both sides. I'm going to switch back to right. I like right and green. It's a fun poppy color. 3x equals 5 plus x.
Yep.
I think I made it through everyone. Arfon, what do we do now?
Get rid of the x on both sides.
Get rid of the x on both sides. Now be careful. Guys, some people will do this, and then they'll write 3. This is 3 x's minus 1 x, but like in your brain sometimes you'll be like, oh yeah, 3 and x, take away the x, what I have is 3. No. You visualize 3 x tiles, take away an x tile. Now we have 2 x tiles left equals what?
5.
So now, Raiden, what do I do to finish this out? Divide by 2, and here x is actually going to be, yeah, it's not a whole number. 2.5. You have the last 8 minutes to work on your homework. I know. I'm trying to plan the week so that we only do the projects we need to do, and then I give you guys some homework time. Talk with each other, do homework with each other, share ideas with each other.